You are listening to Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast, a podcast where we believe wrestling is a buffet and there's something there for everyone. Make sure you're following us on all social media such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook under Two Heels and a Face. That's number 2 Heels and a Face. Make sure you check out our website, twoheelsandaface.com.
Era, 2 Heels and a Face.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Twos in the Face Wrestling Podcast. Chris and I have a guest today, a long overdue guest, but before we get into that, Chris, we were just at Freelance Wrestling. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff. Are you still reeling from that night?
Well, I mean, every time I look at my Scion card, reminds me of the great time that we had. But it was so much fun, dude. It's great to obviously go to any wrestling show, right? We love wrestling and we're out there. But again, seeing the people we were just talking about, like the wrestling community and meeting new people and catching up with old ones and getting collectibles like the Scion card, like come on.
Dude.
And just I don't want to get too into it. I don't want to get too much into it, but that Isaiah's match and the way it wrapped up and kind of like his farewell, kind of emotional there. I had to drink an extra Modelo so the tears wouldn't come out.
I think we had 2 at dinner after.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so much emotion, so much eventfulness going on. But tonight is not about freelance wrestling, so we'll talk about that another time. But it's cool that we went to a show together, and I just feel like I saw you. So that's kind of neat because usually that doesn't happen.
I know. It takes a while for us to catch up like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like really catch up. On today's episode, we have the booker, owner, promoter, Rabbi Fine from 2econd Wrestling. So 2econd Wrestling has been around for a bit. This is going to be kind of a crash course for us, I think. I know that Rabbi Fine has been on he's been on Pro Wrestling Enforcer, I know for sure. He's been on different podcasts, but like Chris, you and I have been reluctant, let's say, to start over the past couple of years, start reaching, diving too deep into other promotions, right? Because we were kind of, if wrestling is a buffet, we were kind of full at the moment, right? And I think Rabbi Fine has deserved some promotion and some love, and we've heard great things about him. So it's kind of cool that in our last year, we're like, all right, let's talk to him. We owe him this, right? And let's get him on.
And we've heard great things about the promotion. And I mean, we can get into it once we bring him in. But I mean, we're talking about the buffet bracket champion that came out of 2econd Wrestling, right?
True.
So we'll get into it. But Rabbi Fine, I hope he's there.
Is he there? Did he drop?
He's here, but I think camera's off for a minute. So I'm gonna bring him in.
Okay. And yep, Rabbi Fine from 2econd Wrestling. Welcome in.
Welcome,
Chris and Charlie. How's it going?
We got it. We did it.
I hope.
Yeah.
Well, there.
What's going, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. This is the best time of my job because I'm off of work.
There you go. So is it just booking meetings?
Actually, we did have a lot of booking meetings. I was in Miami with David Ali and Heather Monroe, and spending some of the summer actually getting to see other talent in other territories. And seeing who would be a nice fit for us, but also on the road with some of the talent. So David defended the 2econd Wrestling Championship against a guy named Eddie Torres, who's really great. And Heather Monroe wrestled for the CCW Championship against their newly crowned champion, Nikki Blackheart, who is relatively new to wrestling. Eddie is more of a veteran, but Nikki is, she's got the total package, but who knows?
Okay, yeah, Heather and David, we love both of them. We have not had David on. We've had Heather Monroe on, though. They seem to be very interwoven into 2econd Wrestling. Is that true? You use them a lot? Work with them a lot?
Yeah, they're two of our top stars. Obviously, David's the champion. Heather has been with us almost since the beginning, but her and I worked together in Minnesota once. And when she moved to Chicago, um, when she announced she moved to Chicago, we communicated immediately and put her on the show. And we were joking about how she may have had the best opponents just throughout, just really had a lot of great matchups, and it was great to be down here in a new area. CCW is an amazing company. If anyone's in Florida, they're crazy. They run like 10 to 12 shows a month.
Oh my God. How is that sustainable? They do it.
Their promoter was laying it in the middle of the ring before the show, and I said, "Oh, this is where you sleep." So we have a really nice relationship with them. I think it's only growing. We're looking to collaborate. We're really big on that.
Yeah.
When we can, we're doing something this summer with Wrestle Arts in Indianapolis. We've done some stuff in LA as well. So we like it. We think it's really healthy for the wrestling community, the independent wrestling community, when there is the ability to collaborate to do it, because it elevates the talent.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2econd Wrestling, I want to ask about, before we kind of get started into it more, I want to ask about what it is at its core. Because Chris and I have lived by the phrase wrestling is a buffet, right? And that's what we've built this podcast around. What part of the buffet line is 2econd Wrestling? And if you were like let's say you were in an elevator with me or something like that, and I'm Eric Bischoff, which I have dressed up for once as Halloween, but you need to pitch 2econd Wrestling to me and what makes you guys unique, and what part of the buffet line are you? Like, what would you say?
Yeah, it's good timing because I literally just wrote that today. We have three mottos right now that we're using. One is enjoy your wrestle weekend, which we tweet out every Friday, which basically says come and enjoy, leave, just have a good time and leave the stresses of the world sort of behind. The other is, which is our original motto, which is wrestling is our sanctuary. That it's a safe space for everyone. It's an inclusive space. And also it's a space where people can be freely creative. And we pride ourselves on that. But I think the other one that's really become our newest motto, which is we're the ring of opportunity. So what 2econd Wrestling is given, I think, opportunity to a lot of people, either in Chicago that maybe fell through the cracks, matchups you don't see because maybe they trained at two different schools, so you may not see them wrestle together. And also we have a long history already of bringing in talent that no one else in Chicago has seen before.
Okay.
So we were the first to bring Jack Cartwheel. I think we're the first to bring, I mean, Dreamwave's a little different because they're a couple hours away, right?
Sure.
And they bring in, I think, I'm joking about this, but they bring in like 850 wrestlers per show. So
Big
big cars. So we really have, we brought in Gal. Before he was WWE ID'd. We've brought in, it's the only place you're going to see David wrestle Kylie Ray. And, Brooke Havoc is another name. Vert Vixen, although she's probably been here, she's not around a lot, and we're starting to have her more. So we tried, Jordan Cruz is a great example. Jordan Cruz on the West Coast is on every show. And why hasn't he been to the Midwest yet, or certainly to Chicago? So he was awesome at our last show, and someone everyone should keep their eyes on. So I think those three things: enjoy your wrestle weekend, wrestling's your sanctuary, and the ring of opportunity sort of define us.
Yeah. I remember there was one that stuck out to me because Chris and I are huge Besties in the World fans. Huge. Like, we obviously watched both of their tag title runs, majority of it. And then we wrote a fantasy article booking them against each other. And then it kind of happened a year later. So and we've had Vega and Fitchin on multiple times. We love both of those guys. But you guys had them against the Bang Bros, I remember. And I was like, wait a second. Because there hasn't been a ton of like over the years of mainstay. There's been some like Jake something has wrestled at freelance and stuff like that, but usually there's more like I wrestle most majority at AEW and I wrestle majority of freelance. There's not a ton of that intermixing. But that was kind of like the blending of the world for me, like that tag team. So that'd be like a really good example, right?
Yeah, that was actually our first show. We didn't know Bang & Matthews. We knew Vega.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You're good.
On the episode with the religious man.
Yeah, you can say it. I can't say it. So we did know Vega and Fitchett from our time in my time in Minnesota. So I knew that on our first show. I agree with you, Besties. They were so great. I know they're starting to tag a little bit, I guess, but they were one of my first calls because I really thought if we're going to build this first show, we got to have the best talent. And Bang & Matthews were kind of new. I mean, they weren't like super new, but they weren't as established as they are today.
True.
And so that was a great match. Until this upcoming show that we're going to be playing, we don't really play the city. So we don't really see ourselves in competition with anyone. I guess Wrigleyville will maybe change that. I don't know. But not for us because, I go to AAW shows or freelance shows and I buy a ticket because I think it's important to support indie wrestling. I bring friends because I want them to see the shows with me and just sort of, of course, like I'm there talking to people too, because it's hard not to, because like you said, it's one of the C's, it's community, right. But we because we've played the suburbs, we haven't really run into anyone feeling that way. We have a great relationship with Matt Nix and Isaias and Tyler over at AAW and others. So we've tried to also work with Glory Pro and others who just, you come up with ideas, you have meetings, and for whatever reason they don't work out. But we have some nice relationship with a bunch of companies, and we'd like it to remain that. Also Wrigleyville will be it's a different area. They were all playing the same venue, so it was different.
Yeah. Wait, tell me about that show. So since while we're here and we don't, sometimes we bury it at the end kind of as a sign off, but maybe people aren't listening by that. But yeah, what's the show about? Yeah,
so this will be show number 45 for us. It's 4.5-year celebration, and we are going to the city. We'll be at the Cubby Bear July 31st, called Wrestle Eden. We're hopeful to make these sort of our marquee shows, if not our regular venue. We'll see how it goes. Everyone should come out. The card is stacked. David Ali versus Marcus Mathers for the second wrestling championship. Brittany Brooks is challenging Blair Onyx, who's the new Maxwell Street Heritage champion. Plus, we have already Kylie Ray, Vert Vixen, Maggie Lee, Eric Hannon, Kevin Koo. So it's a pretty stacked card, and I just am touching it. So we have more to be announced. So, Effie, I should probably not forget that. And Sean Logan, who's a fan of the pod.
Yeah, we can get into that. So I want to say, your cards are your cards really are the blend, I think, of all the promotions, which I think is really cool. Like, to me, they are unique in themselves, and I'm not like trying to pigeonhole you as just like a certain thing that you're not. But to me, you seem like you're picking new people, and you're picking different like highlights and parts of people that regularly wrestle at other promotions, and that's okay because everyone is kind of free to wrestle wherever they want. But it's really cool that you have like a little bit of like so in my brain goes to like AEW with Maggie Lee. You have her, but you have Kylie, but you have someone I've never heard of, but you have so it is kind of like a really nice blend and mixture of the whole area.
Well, I'm legitimately scouting. I mean, that's one of the things the locker room teases me about is that like they rarely see other promoters at other people's shows, but like I'll just pop up and they'll be like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "Well, they have this person on their card and I've never seen them live." And when you watch them on IWTV or their YouTube clips, it's not the same as watching them connect with the crowd. We try to build a lot of first time matchups in places where people can't have other matches. And then we have our own unique roster, right? David and Heather are pretty unique to us in Chicago.
I agree.
Sean Logan started really with, I mean, I'm not, Sean Logan has wrestled many other places. Sean Logan has started with us, different guy. Phobia, which is sort of our one of our heel tag teams. And we have a new tag team coming in that is two guys from two different local companies, and we're giving them a shot to tag together. So that's not announced yet, so I don't want to blow it. And and then so I'll give you this example. We're not trying to be any other company. We're trying to be uniquely us to put on the best independent wrestling shows that we possibly can. Kylie Ray is freelance wrestling. That's amazing. There's no knock to that. That's like a high praise. Yeah. We would be crazy to not have the best independent wrestler also on our show if she's willing to be there. Yeah. Like, I don't care. Like, so great. She could wear a freelance shirt in the ring for all I care. Like, she's going to have the match of the night almost every night. Why would fans not want to see that?
No, well, absolutely well said.
It's a buffet, some would say.
Yeah, somewhat.
Check this out right quick. So this
all
the talent that's been at 2econd Wrestling, kind of like that like main poster of like all the talent that's been there, and
this is so cool. Can we zoom in on this?
It's most of the talent. In fairness, remember I told you guys I had a little time on my hands right now. I made this. Right Coda's in the corner. That's his first promo pick with us.
All right.
So the first line sort of like the OG, like how we started. And then it's what I'll say the Billy Starks era, and then the Eric Cannon era, and then the Missa Kate era, and now the David Ali. And then below it are people who have come in one time or been on the road with us.
Cool.
So we've done a couple shows in Wisconsin, California and Orlando, and we're like and we've had some spot matches like down here in Florida. So we've had other things. That's also one of the perks, and I think one of the reasons what we offer wrestlers that unique is that we travel a little bit. We're not trying to take over anyone else's territory, but either collaborate or private shows or things like that. So we're I would say that's what our regulars request the most is to travel with us, and when we can. So like Lisa Marie Varon, who's very well known in Chicago, we had her in LA for our WrestleMania show, which we should have again this year.
This is such a Chris, this is perfect because this is a concrete example. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see this, but it's a concrete example of a healthy mix of a roster over the years. Like there's no like, you're not siloing off any. You have young, you have old, you have new, you have big names, you have people I've never heard of before. So it's a healthy mix of stuff, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, and one of the hard things I would say is that some of the people on the bottom who have maybe only had once take let's see, Ellen. Well, I've had Ellen Angels twice, but like Alley Catch or Brittany Blake. Brittany Blake's a great example. No one's having Alley Catch right now, unfortunately. But Brittany Blake's Brittany Blake was phenomenal for us. Great person to work with. Everyone should have her on a show. But we also feel like we want to build new matchups. We want to give new opportunities. We want our fans to see new faces and get to know the whole buffet line of, if you would, of independent wrestling. And so Brittany Blake hadn't been here for a while. Phenomenal talent. Could only have great things to say about her in and out of the ring. We had, I'll tell you a little behind the scenes thing before her and Effie flew in for that show, and we went to breakfast before. It was like a 3 p.m. show on a Sunday. And we were sitting there like, felt like the oldest table in wrestling history because, we're adults, and, a lot of people are usually there's, a 19-year-old at the table with the 45-year-old. This was like, we were like, this is our old brunch table. It was nice.
That's great. The name 2econd Wrestling, how did you come? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so I started hosting a venue for First Wrestling, which is the best. I would say one of the best. Yeah. And so then I was leaving Minnesota to move home. I'm originally from Chicago, and I didn't want to lose it. My goal was to do 1 to 2 shows a year, not 45 and not 10 to 12 shows a year. And and so I asked Eric Cannon and Colt Cabana, who were like encouraging me to do this, if it'd be okay, basically, if it was an ode to him and to Chicago, the second city, but also that I learned anything I've learned, good or bad, from Eric Cannon, and he's a massive help. He's the best promoter I've ever seen, and his flowers, anything we do is in essence part of his flowers that he deserves.
Cool. No, that makes it.
That's cool. I've never put that together, but once you started saying it, I'm like, oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So 45 shows to me, that is like you're coming up on a 50 milestone, which is great. I feel like maybe in the same span, I don't know how many more shows you have planned for the rest of the year, but you'll hit 50 and we'll hit 300 episodes. And that 45 on the road to 50 feels like our road to 300. Is that how like, can you just describe what the journey has been, like 45 shows in?
It's so fast. I can't even describe how crazy it's been, how much I've learned. I'm writing a piece right now about how this all happened and why I'm still doing it. Because again, it was supposed to be, 1 to 2 shows, and selling tickets is not fun. Everything else about wrestling is fun except for selling tickets. So it's just a lot of hard work and grinding and figuring out the right angles and growth. And we don't work Fridays, and we work occasional Saturdays. And so most of our shows are Thursday nights or Sunday. We also try not to compete with freelance who run some Thursdays. Mm-hmm. And Sundays sometimes are bigger shows, and sometimes it's really Sunday's really hit or miss. It's like, do people have nothing to do on Sunday? They'll come to wrestling. If people have stuff to do on Sunday, like, it can be brutal. And so, yeah, I've just started taking it all in. This is obviously our biggest show, both in terms of there's a bunch of wrestlers right now answering my emails from this morning. There's a certain amount of accomplishment that we feel as a team, and it's a lot. Those people, especially the ones in the middle and right to the sides, put so much trust into us, right? So it's not crazy to say a young talent or not even young talent wants to get on the freelance card, the AAW card, because if you look around at the people they've had or the people they've helped make, there's a reason they want to be on that card. My first show ever was an AAW show to go see Colt Cabana. It's a legendary show. It's when DJ Zion jumped off the Logan Square balcony, on Penta. Mm-hmm. And I went nuts. My wife surprised me with tickets to see Colt because we would have been friends. And I lost my mind when that happened. I was like, why have I not been going to these things my whole life? So, and Penta just was from another world. And now obviously he's who he is. But at that time, only the independents knew who he was. And so, yeah, I think to be where we are, work with the people we've worked with, to have the Colt Cabanas and the Eric Cannons and the David Ali's, and the Billy Starkses and others. I hate him with all my heart and soul, but Darren Corbin, he is the worst. And to be able to travel with some of these people, to be able to give them dream matches, to have the Sean Logans and the Ezio Orlandis and the Heather Monroes and the Missa Cates. We're very lucky to have what I believe is a really beautiful locker room that really deeply cares. And I think there's a reason people want to, people reach out to us and want to get on our shows, and why we have the Go-Go Championship to give opportunities. So it's a great sense of accomplishment, but it's my crew and this guy Lawrence Levine, who's been very helpful. and Mike Herman, and For Sure Entertainment, which helps us with all of our like music and sound. It's a labor of love, but it's not just me. It's a locker room full of incredible people. I'm a rabbi, right? So we full time. So I spend a lot of time with Jews. This is an experience, what I say, unlike any other, where um, for however many hours the show is, people from all walks of life come together. And if anyone doesn't play their role, the show dies. So if someone takes liberty to say something or do something to hurt someone, God forbid, um, the whole community is impacted. So we all have to be together. It doesn't matter where you are on a religious spectrum, political spectrum, no religious spectrum. Um, you come together for a common love and a common goal. It should be a model for how we function as society also.
Yeah. Wow, that was really well said. No, it sounds like, just in you saying that, it sounds like you probably got a pretty strong locker room. And that's something you guys have fostered. So it's really cool to hear. Someone that was mentioned. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask real quick, like, because we hear this a lot of the times with different promoters. Like, I thought it was just going to be a one-time thing, or maybe twice a year, and that's about it. But what happens and through your mind, where it's like, is it just like, let's do one more show, or is it like, nah, I really like this and I'm gonna take this as far as I can now? Like, what was that moment for you like?
It was the change was Billy Starks versus Chelsea Green, which happened, and unless one of them goes elsewhere, the only time it happened. So we did a first show, which was, I'll call the friends and family show, right? Hey, I'm doing this crazy thing. People came out, a couple fans, but mostly people I knew. It was packed. We packed a gym. And then I was like, oh, maybe we should do a second one. And the community center we were at said, yeah, let's do a second one. We had Coco Beware, and we had a good amount of people come out to get his autograph. He had
That's
not
awesome.
been in town. Yeah, he was great. He had not been in town for a long time. If you ever need a Coco Beware 8x10, I got you hooked up. I got a lot of those like that. I paid for them, but I got them. And then we did a summer camp heard about it, and they were like, hey, let's try to do it one for the kids. So that was like show 3, and I found this bar, and you can't bring friends and family to a bar. Like my parents don't care about going to a bar, and we started getting sponsors, and like just people wanted to see Billy Starks versus Chelsea Green, and then it took off. There's little things about that you learn along the way, like what happens when talent cancel, what happens when so many talent cancel on a show that you can't sell the poster at the show. Right, like you learn about these things. Like, it's no one's fault, flat tires and injuries and rainouts and how you adjust. But so I think it was a natural progression, but I really credit I'll credit myself for booking the match, but I'll also credit Billy and Chelsea for having a match that sort of defined, and in some ways still defines, who we are. I think the last match we just had, David Ali and Kylie Ray, also continues to define who we are. Where, listen, I'm a big David Ali guy. He wouldn't be in the position he is if I didn't believe in him and give him matches like that, right? Because I booked the matches, but he's earned it, and he is a special talent that unfortunately not everyone knows. But I made a post a couple days ago. If you know, you know. And there's a lot of independent wrestlers and signed talent who are so behind David Ali and what he does in the ring. Kylie wanted that match too.
Cool.
So, to Chris, to Chris, just to answer your question, I think it was a specific match that sort of defined us, and then it carried on. That just, we had a fan base after that.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's taking you to 45 shows now.
Yeah. It's an hour, 45 shows, 8.5. Yeah, it'll be about 50. I think we may add a show. We're working on something that may come to fruition. We have September, October, and December pretty locked in. We may add another show at that time, but we'll probably be in January or February next year when we hit 50.
Cool. You mentioned Blair. You mentioned Blair Onyx. So huge fans over here of Blair Onyx. Did you watch the saving of Blair Onyx today?
Yes, and I texted her, "You've been saved."
So if you haven't seen it, anyone listening, but yeah, or if you missed it by the time you're listening to this, go on her social channels because her and some other people. There was Trent Wrigley, I think is his name, and then oh gosh, she's newer. She's like
Davina Thorne.
Yes, Davina Thorne. And then some other people too. Some other people helped with it. Infamous Photos, I think. I don't know the gentleman's name, but they put together like a really, really good video. It had like all your horror shock moments. It had sound effects. You could just tell it took a lot of work, but there was kind of that indie charm behind it, if that makes sense too. Because sometimes sometimes you're almost laughing, but you're laughing like at the appreciation of it. You're like, oh, I can't believe they did that. These are just people with a camera and editing stuff, and like that's actually really cool. So yeah, Blair. I guess I'm bringing this up because I want you to speak about her if you can. But
sure,
it's just so much effort that goes into her character and her presentation, and I think it's just so commendable. So yeah, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, so Blair's one of my day ones.
Okay.
We met in Minnesota. She's literally I think Eric Cannon and Darren Corbin were the first two people I booked, and Colt, but she may have been right in that mix. We've always believed in Blair. Blair won the 11 Stars Battle Royal in May and cashed in on Sean Logan in June. So she's the new Maxwell Street Heritage Champion. She's going to do great things. She's got a massive opponent in July. Brittany Brooks is no joke. Anyone who's seen her, she can really go.
There you go. There's the poster.
This is our third show with Brittany, so we know her well. Blair is working really hard to achieve her dreams. I think the video itself, like, props to her and everyone involved in that. Like, there's every wrestler has to figure out ways to stand out, and for some people, it's great video. Some it's great photography. Some it's their gear. We just made a post earlier today. Just like sometimes we do that. We just shout people out. We love propping up. We have no reason to ever punch anyone down.
Mm-hmm.
And just are like our top 5 people that we've worked with, who have amazing gear. So like Kaya McKenna has like this great gear, and it's like really noticeable. And if that's your thing, then that's your thing. And so that's fine. You got to find what it is, and everyone's going to find it differently. For, gear for David Ali is also incredible. There's one Effie, right? So you got to find, right. There's only one, but that I know of,
Yeah.
but and I'd be a little scared for the world if there were more, there's, what is it that separates you from the pack as a wrestler? And Blair seems to have tapped in. I mean, the spider was always something unique, but you also have to evolve, and you have to get new gear, and you have to grow, and you have to have new catchphrases and new moves. And she's doing all those things, and she's nothing but love for her, and she knows that. She knows my feelings about her as a performer and as a person.
Yeah. I was talking to her at this past show we were at, Chris and I, and I was like, what do the voices say about coming back on the podcast? So we're going to have her back on, but I couldn't even like look at her without, like, I just kept staring at her one white eye the whole time. And then like I was like staring at her black gums, like I couldn't like look her in the face because there's just so much. And that's like you said, like her evolution, right? Those are new things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like her twitching and stuff. So she's really like this is like a whole different form kind of her.
Yeah, and I think all wrestlers have to like if you just go out there and run the same gear, you know who's also great, and we haven't mentioned is Shazza McKenzie, and she works for everyone,
Yes.
and there's a reason for that. Is because she's one of the best to work with. But her gear, while it's the same, she changes colors, and so like I'm always like excited to see Shaz's gear, which isn't like it's a subtle change, but it defines her as a character a little bit, with the heartbreak and all that, and so we can all sort of follow her journey as well. So yeah, whoever it is, you got to evolve. Sometimes it's a big evolution, and sometimes it's little. I think promotions have to evolve, but I also certainly think characters have to evolve too.
Yeah. Okay, I know we mentioned his name like 5 times, so I feel like we got into it at this point. The Sean Logan situation. So, for those who don't have
Wrestler of the year,
Wrestler of the Year buffet bracket winner, tomato. There it is, showing up if you're watching on YouTube. Winner of the buffet bracket, which was Indie Champs this year. Indie Champs. So we were putting together the bracket. We had what we felt like a champion from a lot of every promotion, maybe a lot of different promotions, and then we got some DMs from a feisty rabbi, which were completely fair. So and then Sean ended up getting put into the bracket, had an extra round through the play-in tournament. There it is. So let's see, he had to go through an extra versus Ren Jones, who was, I think, the champ at the time. I don't know if he still is. I'm not sure for AEW. And then through Maggie Lee, through Coda. I mean, I think he beat Alfonso in the final, I want to say. So just an absolute gauntlet of local talent. So yeah, what was that like? Take us through your lens of that on the other end, where you're like, I need to get into these guys.
Yeah. So first it was like, hey, what the right? No offense to any other promotion, but like we run more times than some of those promotions, right? And Sean and David had been champions for longer. Like I think Alfonso had been champion for like 6 seconds. And so no offense to Alfonso, we've worked with him too. He's great. And Coda, I think, had been for a little bit, but someone else was on there like brand new. And so
I think that DM was like, who is Chico?
No. We've also worked with Chico. We love Chico. He's great. One of the things I joke about is that like we have a healthy 7 matches, and like we were just at CCW and they ran 9 plus the pre-show, right? So 10 total, but 9. So like there's and we have 6 regulars, okay, that are always on every show.
Okay.
Sean, David, Blair, obviously they may have a wedding out of the country, but for the most part, there are, our first Heather, and Phobia. And then we also have, Eric Cannon and Darren Corbin, although they're in Minnesota. So, and Eric runs his own promotion. So they're not always available. So it's hard to get on our card. It's not that easy because the slots are all taken. So like that's like Chico and Alfonso, they're great talents. It's just we only have a certain amount of spots. So back to looking at the bracket, I was like, okay, well, where are these champions? And my job as promoter is to advocate for our talent. And so, I guess if you had if Maggie was the Maxwell Street Heritage champion, then I could say, hey, why don't you list her as both? But like my job is always to advocate. And I do that, by the way, I'll DM other promoters and just say, hey, this guy's great. You should have him on your show. I did that today. Yeah. So because a lot of the wrestlers who I'm very close with will yell at me for being too nice. It comes with the gig. That's just what you're going to get. And sometimes I'm like, I'm going to be mean to, I've seen promoters just ream out wrestlers. They're like, whenever a match is not good, they're like, how was it? And I go, it was fine. So because this is not me.
Mhm.
I want everyone to love more. So,
Yeah.
so just pushing for Sean or David. You guys chose Sean, which is great too. Sean probably wrestles more in Chicago, so that's fair. Um, and I'm not surprised. I'm really not. I think he has a great following everywhere he goes. I think Sean Logan, um, different than Sean Logan, but I think both have a real shot. They're doing all the right things. He's also my trainer. I wrestled one match, his one and only student is undefeated. And so I think that doesn't surprise me, and I'm going to do. And I think I think our locker room knows that I will do whatever I can within reason to support them, whether it's giving Blair Brittany Brooks right away, which is a big match for her,
Mhm.
or having Sean come out to LA for our LA show so a whole new state can see him, or Ezio to Orlando, uh, or David and Heather to Miami. I want to do that for our talent when I can, when it
Yeah.
makes sense for the company, when it makes sense financially, when it makes sense for everything that we're doing. Um, and so, I think this is an opportunity for Sean. That was another opportunity for Sean to shine, and I think he did. And I think indie fans voted for him. I think Second Wrestling fans voted for him. I think
Yeah.
his fans, just like the people in his life, voted for him. And to the others in the bracket, like, if you're put in the position and I'm going to say this isn't to stroke your egos, but to say the honor of being in something that you guys are putting so much time into and so much love into, to have sort of these brackets that you want people to see, then those guys that you're having on, it's either that Sean is the most popular wrestler in Chicago, which is possible. I don't know that. Or champion. I think it was champion bracket. So champion in Chicago, or they should advocate for themselves, and their promoter should advocate for themselves. And what a better healthier scene for Chicago if
Yeah.
if we're all advocating for our talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was well said. And I think we told Sean too when we had him on earlier this year. It's a really cool episode. It's one I would recommend on YouTube if anyone's, you the listener, to because he takes you around the gym. It's like he dumped out his brain into this gym because there's like all this cool stuff on the walls and stuff. Um, but I told him, I was like, I think you did really well in the voting because one, you're you, but also like you shared everything. Like you helped promote this fantasy bracket that you were in, and then I think it kind of got people on board. And like all of his matchups had the most votes, I think. So it was like he kind of just like amplified what we were doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that gym is out. It's about an hour and 15 away from Chicago, and I told him my next goal is to be the mayor of Waterman, Illinois. I don't know. It's so quiet and peaceful. You get to
Is
the
that the
city.
town?
Yeah, it's like Hinckley and Waterman. They're all in that area. So but he knows me. He's like, you probably would move down here just to become the mayor and then like leave. I have my subway in Hinckley already now that I go to after training. Like, it's a whole thing. And he gets some of the talent because they're kind of close to Iowa too. So some of the Black and Brave students will go there.
Yeah.
And then some of the guys we had a day last year. Are you guys Saved by the Bell fans?
I mean, I've watched
I
it.
watched them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a
En
hardcore
español.
There you go.
There you go.
Hardcore Saved by the Bell fan. And we did a bunch of us went down there and filmed a commercial last summer that was called there was an episode about drugs in Saved by the Bell called There's No Hope with Dope. And we changed it to There's No Hope with Bad Ropes. And we did a whole play on that commercial. So it's somewhere on our stuff. So I think I've watched it 100 times. I think, I don't know that the guys know because they're all younger, but like for me, it's hilarious.
That's great. Yeah. I feel like I'm still learning 35 years old, Chicago. Well, I was originally from the west suburbs, but I've lived in the city for 15 years. But like, I'm always figuring out random towns in this state. There's so many like hidden, tucked away towns. Like, I've never heard of Waterman until right now.
Yeah, I
But
hadn't either.
yeah, it's kind of funny.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Berkeley, Illinois.
Okay.
So that's 25 minutes west of the city, like near Elmhurst.
Great.
So yeah, getting home is, well, you got to go through 290, but on the map, it's close. So yeah, it's not terribly far, but yeah. Chris, did you have any other questions to ask the rabbi?
No, but I just wanted to touch on that. Like, I mean, over the years, we've, doing this podcast and whether we do the buffet brackets every year or have on guests, it still surprises me sometimes to know that we have a guest and we'll tag them. Charlie will do it because Charlie's the mastermind behind all that. He'll tag talent and all that stuff, and sometimes you don't see those retweets or posts or shares, and it blows my mind, like, because that's our only goal, right? To just provide the indie talent a platform, and sometimes it's like, I'm like, I would think that that's just kind of like a natural instinct. Like, okay, you're in a rinky dinky podcast, two heels in the face, whatever. And it's like, it's still a platform. Like, share that out. Just to get some more eyes. Like, you never know who's gonna come across your content and be like, oh, cool, I heard about this guy in this one podcast. I've only listened once in my life, but now that's a follower on your side. So and to hear that from a promoter saying, like, I promote my talent to be in other places, it's something that we often don't hear, or we don't frequently hear that. So that's refreshing to hear.
Yeah, this came up this weekend with as David and Heather and I were, with another promotion, and we were guests, but they're amazing. We talked a lot about like what also makes us different and special as a second wrestling community. And it's no slight. Like, again, I go to the other shows. I love going to other shows. I've been to the only promotion I really don't think I've been to in Chicago is CSW, because they run Friday night. I'm a rabbi, so I can't get to Friday night shows. It's just never going to happen. If they ever did a Thursday or a Saturday night, maybe. And how we can, as a community, support each other. How we we don't have a school, so because we don't have a school, what can we offer? Because we can't offer training, and we can't offer if you build the ring 50 times, you're gonna then eventually get on the card, kind of thing. So we can't do that. And so what do we offer that others can't? And I think I think something this world needs more of is love. We can offer the most amount of love, and I think our fans feel that way. Our regulars often comment on that stuff, but I think genuinely the locker room, super respectful and warm, and it's listen, it's we've had our fun, but like, we're not going out and drinking till everyone pukes. Plus, surprisingly, guys, most of these wrestlers can't outdrink me anyways. But that's the sad truth.
I believe that. They're too lean.
Yeah, that's fair. We went to we had a camp show, and I took all the guys out for this like really cool milkshake place that's right by the venue that I knew about, and it was just like wholesome. And we sat there for like almost 2 hours over like this milkshake, and a lot of those guys, remember, like you said, or we said earlier, they all don't see each other all the time because they all work for different promotions, and they come to second, and they're sort of like a shared, like, oh, we can come to this one promotion together. Mm-hmm. So like, someone we haven't mentioned has been a big part of what we do, and is one of my, I would say, my closer guys who I talk to a decent amount, is Darius Luttrell, who I love.
Yeah.
Just think the world of him in the ring and out. And we're both ballers he went a little further than I did in basketball, but we both we've often laughed about like the two of us could probably take all of professional wrestling. Darius was there, and then you have like Moondog Murray, now Maurice, and you had Jordan Cross, and you had Sean Logan, and there was someone else there. But I'm thinking, so you had Freelance, and you had POW, and you had CSW, and you had AAW, and you had all these guys who've come to us, and they get to spend time. CJ Martin was on that show. So you have all these guys who come to us and get to spend, sort of time as community, as like a global Chicago community together. So there's something special there.
That's so cool. No, and you should be proud that you're continuing to foster that. I think that's awesome. Yeah, you should be really proud of that. So, Chris, anything else?
No, I think that's all I have, and I truly, enjoyed the conversation. We, Charlie and I often talk about, like, whenever we bring guests on, like, we want to, not just do let's jump on the pod and record with a special guest. We want to build a rapport, and I gotta say, like, this has been very pleasant, and like I said, very refreshing to hear from a promoter, the way you promote your talent, talk about your talent, because we haven't had the chance to meet in person, right?
Sure.
So definitely, like, that July 31st, I just went to my calendar and I'm like, hey, what's going on the 31st? Like, can I squeeze some time and get out?
I don't go to that. I'm way too old for that.
Right. Yeah. That's why I like my calendar. Like, is there a kid's birthday? Is there anything happening? Can I clear the calendar and try to make it to the Cubby Bear? So,
we'd
no
love
promises yet.
It's a bus ride away. It's a bus ride away from me, Chris. You can park by me.
So I thought we were going to do this whole podcast just talking theology. You don't want to talk any theology?
No, I did get an A. I did get an A in that in high school.
There you go.
At that class. Yeah.
We're like, it's, there is a beauty also of like learning so many different cultures and so many different things, like being down here with David and Heather, we ate at Yard House a lot because like everyone's dietary, everyone can get. I'm also a vegetarian, so like okay. Yeah, I appreciate that, Chris, and I think you're right. I think doing these things are important. Unfortunately, we had to do everything on screens for a while, but now we can do these and then get together. And we'd love it for you guys to come out. You just let me know, and maybe I'll sneak in a Cocoa Beware 8x10 for you.
You're trying to get. I just imagine.
No,
just
actually,
pan to the right. It's just boxes of these.
I don't have that many more Cocos left, but I have a ton of Brooklyn Brawler laps. A ton.
Oh, okay.
I really.
I'll take one.
I really. Okay. I really overshot how many I printed of them. We had 2 guests for that show. We had Cameron also from like the Funkadactyls, and her sold a lot. He did fine, but like I think the rest, if you had a choice, you chose her over him. So some people brought both, but
that's funny. I love that.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you guys. Yeah, definitely come out. We'll be running in September 4th, running our second Glow show, which we did a couple years ago. Okay. And we haven't announcing talent yet, but we will really soon. We've got a handful of people who have not or only wrestled for us in Chicago coming in. And then October 26th, we'll be back at Dirty Nelly's, which is in Palatine, which is also right off the train where we just were in June. We always do like a Halloween show there. And then we should be back at the Cubby Bear. That's hopefully it goes well and they're going to want us back. And, I'm a diehard White Sox fan. I made that well aware to the owner. But right now what's rooting for the White Sox is just pointless. So, so this is the perfect time to come out, and you never know who's going to show up. That's the nice thing about Second Wrestling.
This has been an amazing conversation, Rabbi Fine. Thank you for pushing us in the DMs. I appreciate all kindly, of course, always kindly. But we can take a little stick, so don't hold back. But this has been an amazing conversation. Yeah, we gotta make it out there. We gotta meet in person and have a few.
Would love it. Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.